Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second panel, which is around changing behavior among consumers in Asia. Please say hello to Guido Bescher from Head of Travel for Rappi. We have Kei Shibata, co-founder and CEO for LineTravel.jp and Trip 101. And we have Sarah Wan, Southeast Asia Marketing Director, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore of Klook. So for the next session, we have very interesting 3 different businesses really from 3 different regions. We have Southeast Asia, we have North Asia, and we have Latin America. But they have one thing in common. They are all linked to the super app ecosystem, which absolutely got supersized during COVID. So as consumers were forced online to buy groceries, order food, communicate, and literally just entertain ourselves at home. As this slide shows, we had a Facebook and Bain & Company survey that basically said that there will be 310 million digital consumers in Southeast Asia by the end of 2020, and that online spend is projected to grow 320% between 2018 and 2025 with that slide. So during COVID, the report also looked at how consumer behavior changed during COVID, and it talked about the acceleration of the discovery of new apps. And the survey found that 28% tried a new e-commerce app, and 27% tried a new digital payments app. And 77% tried a new app that they plan to continue using post-COVID-19. And with more people moving to social media apps, social commerce is flourishing. So let's go to our panelists and let's find out what they have seen in their market. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Soo-Hoon.
Hi. Okay, so let's start with Sarah. Sarah, you're calling in from Singapore, probably just down the road from me. Although, you know, I feel like I know Sarah really well because I keep seeing her on screen, but I've never really actually met her physically. But so, Sarah, what is the tech that you're most excited about in terms of its accelerated adoption this year by consumers?
So I think for us, live streaming isn't really a new form of technology, but we've really seen it accelerate in Southeast Asia. I think previously it used to be classified really as a North Asian or maybe even Chinese phenomenon, right? But we're really seeing it here to stay. And it's really a race for brands to capture eyeballs on this new platform. Yeah, so I think we will see improving production value, improving interactivity of these live streams, and some brands even going so far as to build their own in-app capabilities to direct traffic a little bit more in a bit more straightforward measure versus actually using third-party platforms like Facebook or Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, Trip.com, I think Christine mentioned it in the first panel about Trip.com, basically taking live streaming out to Southeast Asia. And, you know, when I've spoken to OTAs in Asia, whether it's Ixigo in India, whether it's Traveloka in Indonesia, whether it's iVivu in Vietnam, everyone's doing this live streaming. They are still not sure about how effective it is in terms of transactions. But everybody's experimenting. In Klook's experience, have you seen sort of real transactions coming out of live streaming?
Yes. So actually what we've done this COVID period is we've been a bit busy, right, developing our own in-app live stream capability as well. So we've made sure and we are constantly trying to improve the process of smoothening from inspiration that you see on the live stream all the way down to the transaction flow. And some stats that I can share. So versus Facebook Lives that we used to do, we're actually seeing twice the amount of transactions and conversions coming in from our in-app live stream. And actually, so far, when we've done, we've experimented a number of topics, right? Staycations, durians in Singapore. And so far, actually, we have seen revenue numbers come in from these live streams. So it's looking very promising. Yeah.
Okay, so you can imagine that, you know, I know Klook runs a travel fair, right? Like a big travel fair, which is offline. So you can imagine that I can see the brain ticking away that next year you'll probably run the Klook travel fair virtually, maybe a hybrid with live streaming.
Yeah, I think that's the intent, right? At least for the near term, we are really seeing live stream replace our events calendar, basically. And so far, we're just learning how to really ramp it up to the scale that we used to do Cook Travel festivals here.
All right. Okay. So Guido, let's move to you. And I know that you, Rappi recently launched a live stream channel as well for Colombian artists in lieu of live concerts, because nobody can go to a live concert anymore. How is that doing? And do you think live streaming will also become a big thing in LATAM as well?
Yes, I believe so. It went very well, actually. Millions of our users connected. There were not only Colombian artists, football players, other influencers, YouTubers, and it went very well. And actually was maybe the beginning of live and interactive commerce, social e-commerce. There are many words around it, but Rappi has technology. The users engage for many other verticals. So getting their attention was not that difficult, but it was a good test to see the engagement of those users and trying the technology, the UX, to start getting into this new trend of live streaming e-commerce. So
right.
I believe it's a trend here too.
Yeah, it's basically TV shopping with interactivity, right? In the old days, you had the TV shopping, but now you have the interactivity, and you've seen the Canton Fair, which is like the world's biggest fair, world's biggest exhibition. Like thousands just went totally online with live streaming as well. So I think that's kind of an exciting moment, I think, for Asia. So Kay, let's move over to Tokyo, where you are. And I miss Tokyo. Let's find out what key trend you're seeing in the market, Kay.
Okay, well, I mean, there are lots going on in this country, after the pandemics actually broke out. But I think I want to probably highlight the one thing, which is the location-based marketing using super apps / messaging apps. So I'll give you one example on our platform, Line Travel JP. So we send a lot of push messages over the Line app to our users, for example, living in a Gifu prefecture, which is actually near Nagoya, to promote the discount campaign specifically designed for the Gifu residents, and then run by the Gifu local government and tourism board. So this really makes sense for all the stakeholders during the pandemic, because the destination, they wanted to avoid the over tourism, so they wanted to actually optimize the number of the visitors, and so they can actually specifically target to the residents in their neighborhood, and travel company, for them, I think they wanted to maximize the results from the marketing activities, and they have unlimited budgets, right? So, and for consumers, they specifically look for the deals in their neighborhood. They don't want to actually travel too far away, and also they wanted to actually save their own money, but they still wanted to travel. So this is kind of great example that using technology, I think the super app provides some vital tool for travel distribution under this new normal world.
So more precise, certainly with domestic tourism, which is the only source of business that we have right now, from Singapore to Japan to everywhere around the world. We're definitely seeing, even in Singapore, like very localized marketing, and we're seeing like super niche communities now, like super niche. And I think Facebook groups kind of exploded during COVID as well, because people were wanting to find comfort online. So you had really super niche groups, and some publishers are also niching down into this group. So Sarah, have you seen any interesting activity among travel brands in this sort of super niching of marketing activity?
I think for haven't really seen that amongst travel brands so far, but for Klook, maybe if I can just cite what we did last year. We did this, we actually created like a community group last year, where we were giving out Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. But From there, it actually became a very organic community for people to share itineraries, things to do, right? And the intent for us, actually in the near future, is to transform that into a community that will then discuss what are some of the things that they can do domestically, right? It's just that I think right now, at the stage that most travel brands are in, not many have thought to actually leverage this new channel yet. It's been a lot of the more direct brands, right? E-commerce, things that people can buy in groups, that are really using these communities at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's such a missed opportunity actually by travel brands, even in Singapore, to learn from e-commerce brands like Carousel, for example, and how they super target, niche communities from whether it's Tiong Bahru or Sentosa, because travelers are just going around by the hoods, it's like hood tourism.
Yes.
Good hood tourism. So now let's cross over again to Guido and let's bring him back from Rappi. And what is the key trend that's occupying your mind at the moment?
Well, it's a big question. First, I want to prove our ideas in this super app trend. We have so many ideas. Some of the things Kay mentioned on the geolocation, push notifications, understanding cross-selling with other verticals. So I'm very excited to see that. And on the industry level, I want to see how Google position itself after all this void in investment in the AdWords game, and now maybe with much less players investing, maybe Google starts doing what many expect they're gonna be doing soon. So also want to see how travel companies compete with Instagram and other social networks on travelers' attention. That been seeing images and video of favorite destinations they cannot go to, but I want to see how the new marketing game starts again with companies, intermediaries, and travelers.
When it comes back again, I mean, certainly one common story talking to OTAs across the world is everybody's just basically saying this is such a good opportunity for brands to try and wean off their addiction to Google, right? During this time, because now you don't have money, so hey, what have you got to lose? So you got to try things. So you got to get creative. But honestly, like, how realistic is it, right? So Kay, let's go to you. I mean, what's your view on what Guido says about Google post-COVID?
Well, I mean, so yeah, this is actually the one of the most popular topics for all the marketers in our industry, I think. So, and we've seen interesting articles here and there these days, as I'm paying close attention to. So anyway, I think that Google is still the best performance-based marketing channel for most of the travel company, without any argument, I think. That being said, I think their clients, including a large OTAs like Booking.com or Expedia, I don't think they're gonna go walk away. They're not gonna go away. I think, however, I think this is a very important thing happening now. I think the pandemic has really given us the opportunity to reevaluate our strategy and our fundamentals of our businesses. And then as Sufun, you pointed out, I think it's it is a perfect time to actually to diversify their marketing channel, right? So that's the reason why, for example, the Booking.com and Expedia, those people, they are heavily investing on our platform because they are seeing us as a great alternative channel to Google, right? And I think this trend is going nonstop, which means I think the super apps are definitely well positioned to take some of the market shares from Google down the road.
Well, but I hope that the super apps don't take so much that you become so super, so you become another big giant sitting on top of the industry, because in our industry, we need diversity and we need multiple players to give us variety. So, but I think it's a good outcome for the industry if we have, much more creative methods of acquiring customers and inspiring customers differently, you know, and getting them excited about travel and consuming travel differently. So I think that's exciting. So Sarah, you know, definitely through the stay home restrictions and all that, I definitely saw, you know, a stepping up in activity from Klook. You know, like you didn't stop communicating with your customers even when we couldn't travel, right? You know, so tell us why you felt that was so important to you, you know, to like, weren't you afraid that you were making them frustrated?
Not quite. I think to be very fair, in the beginning, we did try to actually tone down a little bit just to, you know, assess the sensitivities around travel. But what we found after a while was that collectively consumers actually miss travel. So that was the kind of like need that we wanted to address. And obviously we couldn't, you know, sit on our hands. So we then pivoted to domestic a lot more, right? Everybody was in the same boat or state of mind, right? So there were a lot of opportunities for us to connect directly with with customers that way. And I think we talked about over-reliance on Google. So for us, we actually turned inwardly, right? And we looked at what we could do more on our own channels to really maintain that level of communication with customers. And one thing that we realized was that customers right now prefer over communication to under communication. So I think previously, you know, brands were trying to strive for the shortest piece of content, the snappiest piece of content, but right, with safety as a top priority for many customers, they actually need to fulfill the need for research, right? And to feel a little bit more assured about the attraction that they're visiting and so forth. So for us, I'll give you an example. So we actually had staff starting to go on staycations in Singapore, and we were like, hey, you know, do you mind writing an article for us just as a, you know, what it's like to do a staycation when during COVID, right? And those were actually some of the top performing articles for us because it was written in first person. It was very personal. It gave you the details like, is there still going to be a buffet breakfast in store for me with social distancing measures, right? So those are the kind of things that actually people are looking out for now. So the brand that gives the assurance is the one that will get the conversion ultimately.
Yeah, certainly. I think we've seen the trend towards longer form articles, longer form content, and even videos that tell beautiful stories. I think, you know, we are all stuck at home, so we are consuming content like never before. So, Kay, so now we go to the other trend that I know. Oh, sorry.
We have a question from the audience. Yep. This question is from Mark Lanahan. So Google seems to be taking over the top of the funnel, and considering that, you know, super apps seem to have an edge in these times, should travel apps try to build their own super apps, their own community, or just get on board with one of the apps? What do you feel?
So I think a brief reply from both Guido and Kay. Guido,
well,
you go first.
It's tough to build one. It's not the tech. It's getting the attention and the frequency on the users. So travel is not as frequent as maybe groceries or food delivery. So it's a tough one. I would say that I would first learn and partner with existing ones.
Okay. Kay, maybe we move on to the next topic because we're going to run out of time. And I know we want to talk about this trend, and it was a question that actually came out at the first panel too. Mm-hmm. And it's about, you know, the way work is going to change, right? You know, and so you are very excited about this trend, which you believe could transform travel as well as societies. Do you want to talk about that trend?
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, I have to mention that I'm extremely excited with this one opportunity. Private accommodation space. So after the pandemic took place, so, you know, at our Trip 101 and Ryan Travel JP platform, so we've seen a tremendous growth of distribution in this space globally over the last few months. So we saw, especially in the US is actually, we saw 2.4x year-on-year growth of the booking. And that ended up is actually pushing the Airbnb to go to Fabric, right? I think that's actually one of the biggest and the most present news for the industry, I think. But having said that, I think it's the Asia was also started seeing, you know, this growth, you know, and in this space. I think that Japan, for example, we started seeing like a 53% of year-on-year growth of private accommodation booking. And the Malaysia, for example, grew at the 79% year-on-year. And what makes me really excited is actually this one big trend behind this growth, that is actually the workation. So I personally think that the workation could fundamentally transform the travel industry as well as the entire sort of ecosystem of a society, because we can actually now know we can actually work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And then the people are definitely happier to stay in the mountains or snow resort, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe even 1 month, walking from there and enjoying snowboard or the mountain climbing or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big macro trend, because I know personally, as soon as I can get out, I am going to go to Penang, and then I'm probably going to work there for 3 months, and just that's going to be my vacation, right? So I'm going to be a long stay traveler. Okay, so Guido, the last trend, I go to you, because you want to share another macro trend that you've seen, a macro trend that definitely will filter down to the travel industry in the future.
Yeah, I agree. And on top of this huge adoption of technology and like Sarah said, the over communication, we're seeing also direct to consumers trend, people wanting to be closer to the real stuff, buying directly from the butcher with QR direct payment links. So I see it's an interesting trend that's happening, and I want to see how that evolves with our industry, right? People connecting to direct channels, and that's going to be an interesting challenge too. But now there's more time. Users have more time, and maybe they're over communicating and getting more online to see, like I said before, checking social media and also. So I see a macro trend that eventually will change the landscape here too.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a growth in direct to consumer to direct behavior, definitely. So Sarah and Kay, a quick one. What's the one thing intermediaries like you have to do, therefore, to remain relevant? Sarah, you first.
Yeah. So for Klook, I think we cannot deny that more are going direct to brands, but what we're trying to do is really become a platform for inspiration and discovery. So helping users discover new brands to connect to. And the second thing I would say is look into your loyalty program to make sure that you can keep customers coming back.
Okay. Kay?
So, sorry, muted.
Okay.
We have to keep increasing the touch point with the users at the right time, right location, with the right channel, with the right content. So, and then I think as the intermediary have a more and a better opportunity to do so, comparing to the the suppliers.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's go to rapid fire, and we're going to wrap up with a rapid fire question. So Sarah, which destination has done the best job of keeping your interest in travel alive when you can travel again?
Australia. I've seen plenty of things coming out from the Australian Tourism Board and the state tourisms. Yeah.
They ran an amazing virtual weekend, didn't they? Oh my gosh, I attended some of the tours.
Yes, and they've had everything, right? From cooking shows to live performances.
Cuddling a koala.
Yes. Yeah, so I think they've really gone above and beyond, right, in bringing the destination to virtually.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Guido, so which airline has done the best job of keeping your loyalty?
Well,
when you can't fly?
Yeah, none as I would like. But maybe Avianca has been the closest one with through LifeMiles, its loyalty program.
Okay. Kay, which airline has done the best job of keeping your loyalty? Because he's a frequent traveler across Asia.
Airline, so I'll pick ANA. Shinichi Inoue, ex-CEO of Peach Aviation, and now the one of the executives there, had recently made his one interesting idea true. That is actually he actually flied their flagship A380 aircraft for the loyal customers and fans to experience the 90 minutes of a sightseeing ride, you know. And they ended up is actually flying this plane with 334 people, and the airfare were like $100 plus to $500, and then 1 out of 150 applicants could only win these tickets. So
Wow.
I think it's a brilliant idea. So
He is such an amazing marketeer, that guy. I tell you, he's such an amazing marketeer. Were you one of them, Kay? Were you one of them who got the
I
ticket?
hope so, but
So it's like a 90-minute sightseeing flight, a flat seat A380, like a flight. Wow. Okay. You know, flights to nowhere are doing pretty well. I think in Taiwan they had a flight to nowhere, and it was absolutely packed as well.
that's
You
what
know,
I
in
had to-
Singapore we can't do a flight to nowhere because you know we are
too small.
5 minutes and then we're in somebody's airspace. Okay. Kay, which hotel group has done the best job of winning your confidence and trust at this time?
Me or Guido? So
Okay, let's go to Guido. Which hotel group has done the best job?
With me, none.
None. Okay.
Well, it's very fragmented here in Latam.
All right.
So maybe I'm not.
Okay, I'm going to go to Sarah then. Sarah, which hotel group has done the best job?
In Singapore, I would say Shangri-La. They have been one of the hotels that has really been thinking about how they can make the hotel a destination. So thinking through what are the experiences you can have on your staycation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we ran an article on WIT this week where we interviewed Nick Clayton from Capella, and he said that, you know, hotels have to now go beyond rooming to programming, which I thought,
Yes.
you know, like program the experience. So from rooming to programming. So it was good. Okay, Guido, which is the first travel activity experience you will book and do when you can travel outside your own country again?
Well, I have two in my mind. One is motorhome in the US. I've seen lots of family doing that, and that's one. And Italy food tour in Europe.
Okay.
Those are my two.
I thought you were going to say bungee jumping in Singapore because last October you bungee jumped in Singapore.
Well, that's for next October. You mentioned the first, right? So that's already booked for next year.
All right, cool. Okay. Sarah, when you have money to spend again, which channel will you spend it on? The most money?
Most money would probably still be Google, but coming in close will be content marketing. Yeah.
Okay. All right, very quickly. Kay, what did you spend most money online on during your lockdown?
Oh, well, of course, online, you know, line app.
Okay, all right. We're going to end. So thanks, guys. Thanks for the great session. Thank you for listening in, everyone. I hope you find the discussions interesting and useful. The fundamentals of Asia have not changed. It holds great promise. It remains dynamic, fast, agile, and innovative. And believe me, when we get to the other side of this, we will be rocking and rolling to a new beat. So meanwhile, join us during WIT Experience Week, September 28th to October 1, where we will talk about how we start from Travel 0.0. 4 days, one community, one purpose. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for attending WIT Europe.